Mm. Hey, top of the morning to you. I'm Michael, or as the grandkids call me, Roo. Thanks for being on Roodoodles Live. It's 8:57. I stretched out a little bit. Um, I like that piece of music that plays through there, though, so it gives me time to find out which pens I'm supposed to be using this morning. Have another sip of tea. I hope you're doing great. I hope you are feeling blessed after a family time or a friend time or just maybe a good time to sit down and prop your feet up for Thanksgiving. Hope you're even thankful for that. So good to have you on the show this morning. I'm going to paint a little bit. I'm not in the middle. Well, I am in the middle, actually. I've already done a little manger scene here. I'm painting Roodoodles Christmas pieces, and I'm throwing some of them out on Etsy. In fact, I was just dozing off last night, and I heard ding on my phone, and I went, oh, somebody's been on my Etsy site, and that's kind of fun. Thank you guys for jumping out there. I put some pieces on Roodoodles Etsy. You can find the shop. You can also link to it from my roodoodles.com page, which is where my mugs are listed and some bug out bags. You betcha. I got, let me show you the desk here. Let me just see if I can get to the desk. Let me just do a picture in picture here. There it is right there. There's a mug. Both the mugs have both sides printed. They're on the website. And also this is my bug out bag. Why do I call it a bug out bag? Well, one, chickens love bugs, right? And the other is, I think military called a bag, a bigger bag than this, the bailout bag. And it's everything you had to have in there to bail out and survive. And so as an artist, you got all this space, 7 by 12 inches to throw in brushes, your paint, small palettes, big palettes, ink, an eraser, a spray bottle, all these pens. It all fits in there. Even some small 6x6 or paper will fit in there. In fact, this 6x9 piece will zip right in there. Zip, zip, zip. There we go, right there. That's what I started painting this morning. So those are on the site, and we'll go from there. That's just it. A little commercial right off the top there. But hey, I have this stuff, and if you use it to think like an artist, then more power to you, and great. Good job. Let me just say hello. Got me some hot chocolate in my room mug. Delish. That sounds good, actually. I'm having tea in mine, but man, hot chocolate sounds good. I got a couple grandkids here, so when I leave the show this morning, I'm going right downstairs and throw up some. Not throw up. That's a bad term to use. I'm going to throw some. I'm going to place some beautiful handmade pancakes on the griddle. Should never say throw something up when you're making breakfast. I think just made myself laugh. I think Jason says throw down. I think when he's putting art or ink on a page, he says, I'm going to throw down some ink here. Throw down is like, that's a musical term for throwing it down or putting a dance step in. But yeah, not throw down is acceptable. Throw up is not. Okay, got to be started off with that lovely thing after Thanksgiving. Randall Taylor Craven, thanks for being on the show. Denise Albright, missed you all. Man, I missed it too, but it was kind of fun to have a few days off. Lynn Brown, thanks for showing up this morning. Alice Durham, Deborah Spangler, Tamberly Marie, Tiffany Lyons, Barbara Mayer. I think I just said Barbara Mayer. Beverly Schmidt, June Jones from Frosty, Florida. Speaking of Frosty, man, there is frost on my yard today, but the sun is breaking through. Had a fire outside. In fact, I'm going to show you a video. Not only did I build a fire Thanksgiving Day with my daughter and son, running around being busy. I got a video on what we served. You know, I don't do turkey on Thanksgiving. This is like year number 6 or 7, maybe more than that. And it's not a traditional break for us. Tradition. It's just like we want to eat what we want to eat. And so, it takes 2.5 or 2:45 or sometimes 3 hours slowly to do a turkey, unless you're going to deep fry it and set the deck on fire. And so, and plus, we just don't like turkey meat like that. I like smoked turkey breast with a smoked Gouda cheese sandwich every now and then. But just to cook a big turkey, just kind of, you got to be careful it'll dry out. So I'll tell you what we did. I think I told you what was happening. We had some lobsters come in. They were doing their little dance, and we made a bisque. And then I also do a tenderloin, so I've got I got a little video just that I thought you might appreciate that here. Catherine Brousseau, thanks for being on the show. Karen Bender, Bob Hendrick, what you say? Morning from the much obliged cornfields of Iowa. The much obliged cornfields. Gotta love that. Much obliged is very southern. I don't hear it too much. I don't hear Charlotte. I don't hear anybody say Charlotte say much obliged. But when I grew up, there was a little market that I could go to on Fridays if I had my nickel, and I could go down and I could get some Tom's Banana Taffy at Lige Lawhorn's little grocery store down the hill from the school across the ball field. So we would all get to go down there, and he would let us come in the store 5 at a time, and we would get to put our hands down in those jars, get the Fireballs or the Toms. Fireballs were too hot for me, so I had the Toms. And he would say, much obliged, much obliged. I was telling my kids this week about an old fellow that was that used to run the little gas station near the camp, and we took a big dump truck up there one day to fill it up with gas. It didn't have license on it, so we kind of sneaked up the road. It was about 2.5 miles from where the camp was. We went up the road and pulled in there and said, Mr. Jeter, Jetter, he's long gone from this planet now. Mr. Jeter, fill her up. He says, yes, sir. He said, you boys go in there and get you a cool drink and I'll fill her up. So he wanted to do it himself. So he's out there filling it up. So we reached down in the Coke box and pull out a bottle and get us some, had to slide it through those rails and got us a couple of little cheese crackers, and we're sitting there, and he had lawn chairs that were set inside. Sometimes they sit outside. It's just 2 pumps, a little station there, and he had a few little grocery items, Vienna sausage, that you'd be much obliged to have some of those with the cracker, little boxes of saltines. We're sitting there, and in his southern vernacular, in his southern vernacular, he didn't say you all, he didn't say you folks, he didn't say would you, he said you'uns. And it was a southern slang term for you'uns. And so when Tim and I got ready to leave, he said, you'uns, just stay with us. And he'd done that 50 times as we'd stopped there and filled up other trucks and things. And we'd always just say, thank you. And it was his way of just saying, see ya, out of here. You'uns, stay with us now. So he would sort of point at us and he'd say, you'uns, stay with us now. And so we didn't make fun of him because we talked in our own southern slang. But it was such a fun term. And one day he's out there filling up the truck, and I said, Tim, when Mr. Jeter comes back in, he's going to say, and Tim goes, you'uns, stay with us now. And I said, why don't we just start out the door and turn around and say, okay, we will, because we don't have anything else to do today. We're just out here on our own time filling up the truck for the work crew guys tomorrow. And so he goes, let's do it. So we were just laughing underneath. So Mr. Jeter comes back in. We pay him for the gas, I think it was 28 cents a gallon or 30, maybe it's 38 cents a gallon back then. Yeah, were those days. And we said, all right, Mr. Jeter, thank you so much. We'll see you next time, sir. I mean, we respected this guy very much. And he said, adjusted his hat, he kind of wore it like he adjusted his hat and he says, you'uns, stay with us now. And Tim and I looked at each other and we said, well, Mr. Jeter, we will. And it was an Andy of Mayberry moment. And we just sat back down in the chairs, just crossed our legs over and opened up those crackers and commenced to eat them and sip and say, well, how's Miss Jeter doing? Well, she's fine. So what's she fixing for dinner tonight? And he's going like, I don't know. I'd like some fried chicken. Oh man, we love fried chicken. You dip it in buttermilk. And so we just started a conversation, and we sat there with him probably for, 30 awkward minutes. And he would find himself busy and he didn't know what to do. So we just sat there and carried on. The next time he didn't say, you'll stay with us now, because he was afraid we would. So there, from the much obliged cornfields of Iowa, see, just shot into a story, right? Just like that. Good morning, Linda. Linda, I saw a note from you on my desk this morning, and I just wanted to say thank you again. It's here somewhere, I promise. I just moved it over. It has a beautiful little, I did move it. I moved it in a safe place because I was throwing paint early. It has a beautiful little, nope, here it is right here. Look at this. It has a beautiful little, landscape painted right there, and I want to get this off carefully. So I may just have to cut around it. But thank you for sending this little tiny little note. Can you see how big this is? Here's the end of my pen. Look, that's the tiniest landscape I've ever seen, and it is detailed and it's beautiful. Thank you so much. I love that. So I found it on the card coming in. And so I've been doing some little Christmas sketches. This is on my doodle pad. So let me paint something here. Glenda Edwards Small, Virginia Mann, Dolores Bolin, Nancy Catlett. Thank you all for being on the show. Donna Sell Barton. Steve's on the show too. Good morning, Steve. Catlett, Janice Scott, Emily Brown, Linda Lenhart. Patricia Lane Evans, Annette, in a world where you can be anything, be a Roodoodles follower. I love it. Blessings to you up there in Bird Island. Up there where you're freezing your tail feathers off as a bird, I bet. Jennifer Yentz, welcome and glad you're on the show. Cynthia Winstead, good morning from Indiana. And Cynthia, I'm sure I've seen you before, maybe not, but I don't remember Winstead. I like the name. That's really cool. Lori Stanley Handelmeyer Stanley Henderson. Lori Stanley Handelmeyer Henderson. I knew I could say it right. I just put Handelmeyer in there. I think it's an old vaudeville thing. Jackie Wallace, Susan Crichton, Ann Westra. And I saw a piece of art go by you. Absolutely beautiful. Margie Duvall. Renee Keese, Jason Nichols. I saw you were working, Nicholas. I saw you were working on a triptych last night, maybe late. And I tuned in, but I was tuned in too early, I think. And then I set off about reading something and got carried away trying to be creative myself, and I forgot the stuff back on. So anyway, hey, I always laugh at reading the night before Christmas because of throwing up the sash. Me too. That's one of those things where you threw up the sash. Oh, on the fresh fallen snow. All right. Miss Carla, I saw you painted a duck. Look, I see what you guys are doing. Gene Peterson from Orlando, thanks for being on the show. Tiffany Line says it's 28 there. Well, I'm glad I'm here because it's in the 30s. All right, so here we go. Let me jump on down. I'm going to paint a little something. And then Pauline Bold, JC Needles. Is it Nettles or it's Needles, I think, from the mountains of Montana. Whoa. Terry Tardy from Coos Bay, Oregon. Virginia Roberts, welcome to the show. Golly, thank you guys for being on the show this morning. Hey, look, I'm gonna paint something Christmas-wise. And I started this little manger scene just before the show signed on this morning. I was sitting here trying to find... And this is one of my favorite paintings, and because I try to paint the truth of Christmas, and to me, you know what that story is. I love the Christmas trees, and I love the decorating things, especially from the Roos, because they decorate like I do. I'm going to do a couple of those this morning, too. I'm going to put on some music, and I'm going to go back to this little piece of music here. And I'm painting with today I'm going to sketch with this pintail. I just sketched this with it, and you know, I draw the peeps in here. There's always one peep. There's always one peep sort of looking down into the manger like this. There's another one that's looking down over here. He's, you see how I drew his body kind of flat there? He's flattened out because he's got something on his brain. And this one, of course, I draw out here. And his comb, his little young, youthful comb is coming out, and his legs are already flapping along. He is in a hurry. Okay, and so there's my three peeps right there. They are, and then what makes this painting work for me is that something's going on in the manger that people still celebrate today, but the animals didn't know what it was at the time, I don't think. And so they're all, you know, just little peeps, and chickens are nosy. They're straw, they're going to eat something. I'll have to show you about my other palette today. I combined my two palettes I was carrying up in Maine. If I can get this one open. And I put this in here, and I think this is going to be my new Maine palette. I'm gonna call it the Maine palette, M-A-I-N-E, because I'm gonna go back to Maine and I'm gonna watercolor. But I'm gonna paint out of this one today. Small little, whoops, wrong spray bottle. Here's one right here. This is just very much a mist. Should never spray that at your camera, right? All right, little spray a little mist in here like this. And then try not to spread all over your pens and get all the paper wet up here, but hey. Part of being an artist is having a little space that you can mess. And I say this in all my classes. If you want to see your art improve, if you want to see your art go from here to here, then find a place that you can actually leave a little messy, or at least leave your paint supplies laid out in, so you can just sit down, take a cup of tea there and go, oh my gosh, I got a half hour before I need to even leave the house for my next appointment, or before someone's coming by, or before I have to do something else. Go and sit down at the art desk. I call it the art bar. I have a space downstairs. And keep some hot tea in a little thermos somewhere, and I go sit down with a cup, grab a little piece of paper. It doesn't have to be huge. It can be, hey, Linda just showed us, you can paint them. Don't throw paper away. I mean, clean paper. Look at that. Got a little small little painting here, and a little piece. Here's a 6x6 piece. I ripped some of this. I cut some of it. The point is, be creative. But if you have that space, and you don't have to go get out all your paints and go get water and go get this and find out and squeeze out if you have a place where you can just sit down and within 5 minutes start painting, you'll be a better artist. Let me tell you what changed my blacksmithing. For years, I blacksmithed with coal. So that meant I had to go out and get the forge, have to build a fire with newspaper and small kindling, rake the coal in, keep it wet around the edges, go through all the smoke till it started burning, keep the air forged in. I'm cranking my hand over here like I'd be hand cranking my blower. I did that for years. I learned to do blacksmithing in the old way. But when I got a gas forge and I put everything in my shop on wheels, I can go out and roll up the door, roll out my anvil, roll out my forge, hit the button on my forge. In 10 minutes, I've got a piece of steel cut ready to go in the forge. And so it made me say, I can get out there in an hour. I can make a couple things. Same with your art. 8:57, 20 minutes. 8:57. Add it up any way you want. 8, 5, and a 7 is 20. And spend 20 minutes doing something, and you will be surprised, impressed, and you will love the fact that how your art grows this next coming year. So if you want to see your art grow, if you want to see your art improve, find a place where you can put everything out there. Fight for it. Hey, it's your house. Nobody's going to care if they, Carol goes, hey, this is my art area. You walk into what we call the library downstairs, and you suddenly realize, oh my gosh, there's 150 cookbooks in here. And some days I think she uses them all at the same time. But anyway, and so that's her space. And her space is where she does her Bella Cucina for her cooking class. It's where she does just about everything that she needs to do. She calls it her library. And it's pretty fascinating, actually. Just absolutely gorgeous. And it's got her candles, her lights, her everything. It's pretty awesome. And so for me, remember I cross-hatched this here? I just sort of kind of came in and hit it with a little cross-hatching with that pen. So now I'm just going to let it bleed over. That's the pen itself. There's no color in there, but I'm going to touch a little green to this now. Put a little green in there, but I'm also going to get a little of this. I think it's going to come out straw colored, because they're like in the farmyard, the barnyard. Just throw a little color in there. Plus, I want a little bit of this yellow kicked out. I'll show you what I'm talking about here in just a second. Just a little bit of this yellow kicked out like this, because there's something happening. You probably know this painting. Some of you own this painting. So how am I going to paint the star here? How am I going to paint the star that's coming down that sets this up? So here's what I think I'm going to do. All right. I think I'm going to cheat. Is there any cheating in watercolor? No. And that's why I would use the word. People say, well, that's not watercolor. You're cheating. And I'm going like, wait a minute. I just watched a landscape painting show it was a PBS show years ago. And I watched it, I think, on Amazon, landscape portraits of landscape artist of the year. the lady that won it used oil paint, spray cans, throw in some splashes of water. She had her own style, and she could create light and blended colors. And I'm going, and nobody came by. The judges didn't come by and go, "You're cheating. You're not using brushes or watercolor. What are you doing?" One person came in and just used Sumi ink. One person came in and just used water. What am I trying to say? I'm reaching for them here. Pencils, watercolor pencils. And I think there's one up here that I'm looking for. Where's my watercolor pencil? Thought I had one here somewhere. Well, I do have this one. I'll just use it. Thought I had a lighter colored one, like a light yellow up here. I don't know what I do with it. Did I drop it? Oh, there it is down the floor. Okay, I'm reaching down here to get it. Let's see if I can find it. All right, hold on a second. Let me get this. All right, so I got two watercolor pencils up here. They look like they're made by different companies. This is a Generals, and this is a Royal watercolor. I think I have a whole set downstairs of Prismacolor watercolors, pencils. Mostly the grandkids use them, but I like them. So I want to sharpen this up just a little bit right here. Sharpen a pencil just by putting it on the end of your thumb and raking it in like this. And look, I'm sharpening it right over the painting. You know why? Because I'm probably going to get some little watercolor pencil droplets right down in there. See, there they go. Same with this one. I'm going to get it right here. Sharpen it just a little bit. And then I'm just going to go and just scrape some of this off and let it just fall down in here like this. Just scraping off a little bit of this watercolor with my knife blade, just letting it drop. But I'm going to come in with this pencil, and I haven't done this in a while, so I'm just going to draw the star like this. Look, I'm just going to draw the stripe coming down. That's the tail. I'm going to draw the cross piece and then put in the pieces like I used to draw in school. Moravian star, I think is what they sort of called them, like this, you know. Beef this part up a little bit. I'm just doing this one on the desk so you can see what I'm going to do here. And how's it going to turn out? I don't know, but here we go. I'm just going to bring this down right here. Just a straight line coming down like so. And then I'm going to beef it up in the middle just a little bit like so. And then I'm going to take it and do my cross piece across here like this. Beef it a little in the middle. Let it fade out to the outside edges. Come in like this. Come in here like this. Come in. Maybe do that one more time. Let's see. Come in the middle like here. In the middle like here. Maybe those are a little bolder as this one comes down. And then I'm just going to draw some little bit of these splashing to the outside. And you're going, well, that's awfully thin. It will be until I get some of some water in it. And then watch what happens. And then I'm going to take the other pencil. It isn't called anything. It's just a yellow pencil. And this one is called straw color. So I'm just going to drop a little straw right in the middle right there like that. Just a little touch of that. I mimicked the use of that, but I've darkened it up a little bit. And then I'm just going to take a small touch of water. I'm going to use this is a number 5 nylon American Journey brush, nylon round brush. I'm just going to go in and I'm just going to come down like this, just with a touch of water. You can already see it darkening up just a little bit. Then I'll come in here, pick up some of those paint little follicles that fell from my watercolor brush. Come in here, sweep across this like so, sweep across here, mimicking my pencil. Look, nobody really knows what the star looks like. You know how they glisten when you look at them. And if you're like me and my old eyes had cataracts, you knew they looked a little more. So, all right, so that's got a little dark. I'm going to take some of that out. I'm going to come back in with just a little bit of yellow right there, gamboge. You got to have a little gamboge in my painting to come down and brighten that star up. Then we'll come in here just with maybe some of this. Now that I've wet this a little bit, watch this watercolor pencil. Just take it and just splash it in here like this and let some of this come out. Just come over your characters. It's fine. Those of you who watch Jason paint his ink, knows that he is no respecter of lines. And I mean that in a fun sense of the word. He just goes, I'm just going to paint this. And it's okay if it runs over this other part. Is that going to bother me? Heck no. And I really appreciate the fact that he just sometimes goes, you know what? Sometimes this may start out messy. And so I mess this one up. No, I'll just make another one. But look, I don't think I've messed it up. But I'm going to do something really funky here. Watch. I'm going to go right in here. And I added a drop of water right in the middle. Okay? All right. Show us Carol's library sometime, Melina Phillips said. I'll do that. I'll do that. I got to clean off my dining room table for Thanksgiving. Yeah, Elaine, I know that. So I got to find another place to paint. If you can find a place that's not on your dining room table where you have to clean it off, you're going to become a better artist. Trust me. I promise you it will change your art. And remember this. Have a cup of tea, 857, 20 minutes. Do you think that's how I came up with 857? No. 8:57 because I just didn't want to start at 9 o'clock. You got to think like an artist. Okay. All right. So watch this. I'm going to add a little straw in here, just a little bit more. Now something strange is happening here. Have you ever done this? Just take your water and just take your watercolor pencil and just set it in the water for just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 or 5 dips. And then watch what happens when I put this on here. Oh my gosh, it softens up the end and just lets that pencil just take off a little bit more. It breaks down the crayon part of it already. And so you're just adding some to this explosion because this star set everything on far. Get it? On far? They came from afar. All right. All right. I'm going to go in here. I got a little spot of water right there. Boom. Got a little spot of water right there. I had one. I'm going to go get some titanium white. A little titanium white. Roll my brush in it right here. And I'm going to go in and just drop it right in the middle, right there. I'm going to get a little, make sure I add a little wet drop of titanium white right in there, like that. Boom. And that's just, I'm just going to let it do whatever it does. Maybe shake a little water at it like this. Maybe come in here with a little white coming down, with some white blowing out this way too. And then I suddenly have this fun little painting of the Nativity. And I'm going to come in with some green grass, but I'm also going to come in with some straw, colored more straw in there like this. And then I want a little bit of a shadow under this peep running right here. Anyway, give you a little idea of kind of how I just set about doing a painting piece. I'm going to grab some Payne's, Donna Buckley, if you're on the show, some Payne's Gray, and I'm just going to do some little spots around here like this. A little dirt on the painting. I'm going to let that dry for a minute. I'm going to come back and paint the caption on that in just a second. I will do a little bit of detail here with my pen. I'm going to put some wings on these peeps. Get rid of that shavings. Man whittles right over his cotton picking painting. What's the matter with the guy? The guy thinks like an artist. And you know what? I do this quickly, but I do it because it helps me aid in my loose style. If I sit here and think, I'm going to get tighter. So I hold my brush back and I just let it happen. And when it happens, it's pretty doggone magical. Okay? All right. Maybe it's just a little touch of wet orange right in the middle of that too. Boom, right there. Just let that white drip down. I'm liking that, okay? That may be just a little too much for me right there. I'm going to erase one little spot right there. Okay? And I'll come back and take a look at that in a minute. So I have this, and you know what they're saying. They're saying, go get Mom because you're not going to believe this. And so there's the exclamation. I'm going to drop that down there, and I'm going to do another little Christmas painting this morning that I scoped out here for you. All right? Prismacolor pencils are my favorites. Yeah, Jason, they are pretty spectacular. I have a whole... stack of them downstairs that I've had for years. Annette says, add glitter. Annette, you add the glitter. If I put glitter in here, as messy as I am now, I'll be having it in my tea and on my hands and on my vest. And this is my Sunday go to eating vest. Not Sunday go to meeting, Sunday go to eating. Love the demo using different mediums. Thank you, Karen. June Jones, my family's here from Orlando. My granddaughter is painting with me this morning. Hallelujah. How fun. Have your granddaughter. So, to June Jones' granddaughter, Thank you for watching the show. And you think like an artist, okay? I just pointed at you on purpose. Who needs stinking lines? Have a corner in the front room always set up. Tamberly Marine, you go for it. Yeah, we're always missing Pat Brooks. When we don't see 650 icons show up, or emojis as you guys call them, you know Pat's not on the show. She's busy, I'm sure. Talked to her last week, and she's doing pretty well. My room is in the basement. All right. I can be a bit messy. I love that. Messy means you're getting creative. And I think Jason does call it chaos. Have you used metallic watercolors? I have not. My style has not required too much metallics. I think those are fun if you're doing landscapes, buildings, architecture. For me, what I use is kind of folkish. It's illustrative, and so I don't, I'm usually trying to figure out how to paint rust and not gold dust. So that's kind of how I see myself as a painter that way. I'm going to change. No, I'll keep this pen. This is the Pentel 05. Here's the Roo right here. There he is. Here's his comb. I penciled this in this morning because I didn't want to forget. It came to me when I woke up, and I thought, I haven't painted this Roo in a long time, and I want to paint him today. This is one of my favorite Christmas Roos also. And I like painting some of the same repeats at Christmas, and I like to see how I changed. And did I get better? Did I get worse? Did I forget something? Doesn't matter. They're all kind of telling the story. So there's the little Roo. See how fast I sort of sketched him in. But watch this. I'm gonna go around here, and I'm just gonna go, and I'm gonna put some Christmas ornaments, okay, in here like this. I painted a couple of these last year, and it became a fun little painting to do and have. Put one up here, maybe one out here, and then maybe come out with a Christmas bow. And then probably what I'm going to do is come in here with some balsam, spruce. And just paint myself some little balsam needles coming down like this. I'm going to take these little things and make sure you know that they're Christmas balls by putting little caps on them like this. They've been hung in there, so he's got a wreath around his neck that's made out of Christmas ornaments. I mean, this Roo's in the spirit. Come on. And so I love when this kind of stuff happens. Top desk drawer works wonderful. Just cover up all the mess. Ooh, a roll top would be great. So I'd have to really clean it up in there. I don't know if that'd give me enough space for depth. Okay, a roll top, but I like it. I finally got a Kakuno. Oh, Jason, don't you love the Kakuno pens? Yeah, man, this one is great. Also, the fine line one is in my pocket. I had it downstairs this morning doing my other journal. I always have those in my pocket. Those are my other two palettes. I got paint. It's scary. Oh, shoot. Dropped it. Here are the two Kakunos that I keep on my desk all the time. This one is a fine line, and I do buy the Pilot ink. This is made by Pilot, but it comes from Japan. You can't buy it in the States. I wish, because they sent me a nice note, and they appreciate me using them on the show. This is the Kakuna Ultra Fine, and man, this is just a fun little. This is a fun little. This would have been good to do some of these little balsa needles with, like this. All right, so that gives you an idea of how that paints, and then just for fun, let me grab a small bamboo brush this morning. All right, in honor of my friends in Yasutoma. I got to talk to them this week, this coming week anyway. Day's Saturday, man. I'm confused with days. I see little pencil marks, and I don't mind leaving pencils sometimes, but I did sketch this as a reminder this morning that I wanted to do this painting on the show. So I just went, I could have made a note, but it was just easy to grab this little 6x6 and do this. This is a small little number 1 or 0. This is a little 0 pen. I'm going to come in here with a little bit of water like so. and just put a touch of water in here. And I want some. Do I have any out here? I want some black ink or black watercolor. Here we go. This is liquid watercolor, and I'm just going to touch it right there. That ought to be plenty right there. Just let that run down where it needs to go. I just wanted some really carbon black ink in the tail of this roux. I think it'll contrast well with what I'm getting ready to do with the colors. So I like that pretty much. I'm going to drop a little purple right in there. And I think I'm just going to take a pencil and just splatter some of that purple down in there like that. That's kind of a fun way to paint sometimes. We get so locked into one style, and I'm just saying, don't. Just break it up a little bit. Have some fun with it. Whoa, you think I got enough red that time? Yeah, I believe so. All right. Let's see if I can bring this back around to an orange and a light yellow. I'm going to have to really pour some gambos in there. I may just have too much. I might have just overshot the farm, landed in the field with the bull. I don't know if that's a saying, but I just used it. So I know we'll rescue that a little bit. There we go. A little Payne's gray, or a little French gray. There we go. That's going to come back around. So I'm going to use that color right there now to just kind of come in and paint his legs. I don't like chicken's legs too orange. They look like they've been cooked, and I don't think I want any cooked chicken feet. No, thank you. All right, so let me just spread a little of that in there, and let's go get some of this orange and splop that in there. Something really fun is happening right down in here, and this is where you splatter watercolor into other watercolor into a pool of water, and it just starts to meld out. I think that's a word that I want to use. Love it, love it, love it when it does that. Ahoy, Mark Langston says from Colorado. Hey, my dear brother. Musicians on the show this morning. Mark Langston, dear musical friend of mine, who I was telling somebody about you yesterday. Oh my gosh, you and Billy. I was talking about you guys were such great musicians that honored me in such a way that only a dear friend could do. I'd go places and I'd be invited somewhere to come and sing and storytell and do my shtick. I'd show up like Neil Diamond. You know, Neil Diamond used to carry a guitar, and I think he played 3 chords, you know. And I'd play a chord, and I'd start the song, and then I'd find that I'd hear those guys start playing, Mark on the guitar, Billy on the keys, and I'm just going like, they don't need me. And I would sing and tell the story, and then sometimes I'd swing my guitar back around and hit another chord. Those guys carried my hiney musically. So I couldn't have done what I did without those 2 guys. So Mark, good to see you on the show. Mark, I got a story about Mark too. One time Mark called me several years ago and said, hey, I need to buy a painting from you for my daughter. And I think it was Joseph Coat of Many Colors Rooster. And she was in a play. She was in the Joseph Technicolor Dreamcoat. And see how my brain works? And he said, what's this going to cost? I said, oh, friends and family price, brother. Come on. $5. And he said, $5? And then, in their email, and I said, yeah, but they have to be silver dollars, and they have to be in the 70s. And he sent a note back, and he said, where am I supposed to find those? And I go, that's your problem. And you know what? About 3 weeks later, that dude sent me 5 silver dollars, and they were duct taped into an envelope. My boys still carry those today, and I still have one right there, 1972 silver dollar in my pocket. So, Mark, I think of you very often. How about that, huh? See, it's the little things, people, that you can do, and when somebody does something like that for you, it's pretty awesome. I travel with my daughter, so I carry art supplies. Lately, my most creative work has been painted in hotel rooms. I know that feeling. Hey, I paint in hotel rooms. I painted yesterday at the Whitewater Center while my grandkids ice skated. I honestly did. I painted the scene. Want to see it? See? Look, there it is right there. There it is. There's the trees in the background. There's a little hot chocolate. This is an Airstream out in the middle. This is where the Whitewater Center is usually. They block that up and they bring in these big freezing tanks and they freeze 25,000 square feet of ice through this trail. And people come out and ice skate. So I painted there yesterday. Love how listen, If you ever work for me, you know that I have a fire defense. You've heard me say this before. There's that other cocoon. See, it's in my pocket too. And that is this. If you show up to work and you don't have a pocket knife, you're fired. Or you got about an hour to get to somewhere and buy one and get back to work. And try me. And the other one is you better have something to write on and you better have a pen in your pocket. That doesn't mean that I'm brilliant. That doesn't mean that I have all the good ideas, but it might mean that you're going to learn something and that you have to write something down to remember it. The people who do field notes, they have the greatest motto in the world. Their motto is this: I'm not writing this down to remember it later. I'm writing it down to remember it now. And so there is not a greater motto than that one anywhere, I don't think. It's just fabulous. All right, so now that this black is dried a little bit, I'm going to dance some of that orange in there. I'm going to go get some Joe's Red, Hot Mama Red, and I'm just going to come in here and notice I didn't put any water here. I just came in. Remember, I wet the paint. Got to be careful how you say that. And I just want this red to be pretty stark and dark, so I didn't want to water that down at all. I'm going to come in with the little gamboge here, right here. That's going to be this color right here, and it's pretty wet, so I got to be careful here. And just touch this, but I want a little bit of that coming down right here into the green. Now I hit that red, and it's going to run up there in orange a little bit, and that's perfectly okay with me. I don't mind if it does that at all. Dance a little of this here, and notice I didn't just paint that. I left it open. I left some holidays underneath that. This rooster's going to need that. Terry Tardy's on the show this morning, and so we need a little Terry Tardy turquoise on the bottom end of this rooster, and I'm going to take off a touch of that right here, just a little heavy there, and I wanted that because I want a little rust on the bottom like he's been under the tractor, and they got him all wired up with the battery. And he's coming out to show out a little bit. Let's see, what would we do? We'd build up a little, maybe a little, I'm thinking a little, let's see if we can get some of this buff titanium right in here. Oh yeah, that's going to be good. A little neutral color mixed in with that yellow and a buff, and maybe just a touch of this blue right here. And I believe we got the roux painted. I think that's how he's going to stand, so to speak. All right. So now what do we do? Let's change brushes. Let me go to let's. You know, you do this plural. I don't know. Sometimes I talk to myself. So I've gone back to a number 5 here that I started with this morning. Clean it out a little bit. Let's see if I can find another piece of music here that just is something fun to paint to. Go get a little bit of orange right in here. Paint that orange. That's nice. Let's paint a green Christmas ball right here, just really shiny green. I'm going to try to paint these so they look spherical. Okay, so how am I going to do that? Well, I'm going to paint one side like this with some dark paint. There it is right there. Okay. So that comes in, and then I'm going to come back and grab a little turquoise. Nope, I don't want turquoise there. I want red. I want red right here on this. I think I want this little ball right up here, red. I want a yellow one right here. Okay. And I want a French blue. It's got to go right there. That's got to be French blue. I love that. Okay. And I'm thinking I need an emerald green or some here. This funky blue is what I need right here. Maybe this is cerulean. Pretty close to that anyway. And then I think I need don't use a lot of lavender, but I'm going to just barely touch it back down in there. And then I think I'm going to put I do need this turquoise ball right here. It's got to be turquoise. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean out my brush. So I've got my brush cleaned out pretty much here. Just washed it out. You hear me doing that. Clean it out. And then I'm going to come back in with sort of a dry brush, and I'm just going to drag some of this color over just as it drags a little bit and runs in and leaves a little bit of a holiday on the back side. Now let's go over some spring green mixed with a little bit of olive, and just kind of come in here and dance it in here very carefully. Look, see how careful I'm being? All right, so just dancing this in like this, okay? Look, this is not rocket science, people. It's watercolor painting. Think like an artist and just have fun. All right, and I'm thinking we're going to need a little bit of a red Christmas bow right here. And so that's what that is. See that, how that came together? Just sketch that out there. Is it the perfect Christmas bow? Heck no. But you get it. You understand it, don't you? You see it. All right, I'm going to grab this pen right here. What time is it? Man, it's 1:45. Where does the time go? That's a rhetorical question. All right, so there's a little bit of that. I'm going to take this and dry it just a little, and I'm going to come in with a clean brush and go a little bit more orange in these feet, just from my color that I mixed up. It's mixing with the ink, which is what I love. It softens the lines. That's why I like to sketch in pen, okay? If I sketch in pencil, the line just sort of lays there and it goes, hey, we're here. What do we do now? But if I sketch in pen, that line it hits the water hits the line, and it does some pretty cool stuff. And I like what it does. I want to come in here now and just dust this ink. No color in my brush. That was simply ink from the pen that bled in, okay? I had to go over this time and time again, but we have new people on the show who just show up and they go, how did he do that? What did he use? Where did that come from? And so that's some of my concept of doing that. All right, I'm gonna let this dry just for a second, and I want to show you something. Laura Abbott says, I love my Kakuno. I'll be ever grateful for finding Rue and talking about it. Oh, thank you. Yeah, and like I said, Pilot has been excited. They sent me a note. They just said, hey, in fact, I met with a Pilot person who happened to be in Florida at the time, and said, gosh, we love the fact that you use so many of our pens and our ink. This particular pen is not processed here, nor can you get it in the States. So we can't send them to you, but you can get them from Japan. I'm going like, well, then you people aren't charging Pilot, is what I said to them. Maybe that's why they didn't send me. Maybe that's why they didn't send it to me. Okay. Okay, I'm liking this painting a lot, Terry Tardy says. Thank you, Terry Tardy. Boom, festive room. All right. Jason says, balance out your paintings with lights and darks, holidays and painted areas. Yes, sir. The best, you want to make your light areas look good, contrast them with the dark. And that's the shadows that have to happen. That's there's so many terms in art that you can go down a deep hole and never paint. I suggest that you learn those terms. I suggest that you learn perspective. I suggest that you learn composition. I suggest that you learn vanishing point. I suggest that you learn contrast and value and tone, all of those. But don't do those at the sake of starving yourself creatively. You understand? It's like reading all of Carol's cookbooks and never cooking. Pick up the pen and practice one for a while, and pick up the pen and the brush and practice another one for a while, and then start to put them together in a painting. You say, gosh, I can't draw those buildings that go out to the vanishing point. Yes, you can. If you have to draw them with a triangle or a T-square, get them to go out, and then start to put things in and understand angles. That's why you love Jason's show. That's because he's an architect. Tom in Maine was an architect for years, still is. And so his sketching is so good because he trained his mind to go there. And now but some people can't get out of that. They can't get loose. All right. Hey, look, so speaking of which, getting loose, Carol and I were in Maine, right? So we decided that once again this year, due to the fact that we love lobster, she would do, I helped, but that's about it. She would do lobster bisque. And so we had some lobsters flown in, and 5 of them, and they came in all in their suits and ties, putting on the bisque. And so that didn't last long. And, but then our kids, since we don't do turkey, we wanted to do we do a tenderloin. And so this year I had the butcher cut it right there, just a smaller group this year, needed a tenderloin about like this. And I do it outside, and I mean outside. So, and somebody said, "Hey, would you show us how a Thanksgiving looked like at your house?" Here it is, just in a short little minute and a half video. Tell me if you like it. It's coming to you right now. It's called The Meal, and here it goes. Boom. Hey, hey, hey. So that was a quick little glimpse of what it was. And I was just tooling around, and one of my grandson said, "Roo, the meat is on fire." And I go, "No, that's perfect," because there was a little bacon grease and pepper down in that pan. That pan that I cooked that beef tenderloin in was my mother's pan, cast iron. She cooked peach fried pies, or is that fried peach pies, one or the other. She cooked them both in that pan, and I got that. It has a what they call a mark in the bottom where they poured it, and it was before 1900 that cast iron was cast. So anyway, great time. Thanks for being a part of that. And you saw how I'm going to Watercolor Maine, so that trip's going on. I'm going to tell you after the first of the year what we're going to do. Hey, I had a note come up here, and I'm just going to respond to it publicly. Everett, you just sent me a note and said my wife emailed you, and I sent an email back and said, "Wow, didn't know you hadn't received it. It was mailed, sent a tracking." So let's do this. I see that this is maybe a different email than I sent the first time, so that may be part of the problem. I do get lots of mail, but sometimes the people whose email names and Facebook names are different names, they don't match up. So I will write this down right now, get it off here, and I'll respond to you. And would you please, I'll go back and look and see what that here's the thing, man. If it got lost in the mail, I'll paint her another one. Simple as that. Life is way too short to worry over one painting, and I'm sorry I frustrated you keeping up there. So I'll get that figured out. I apologize. So let me write that down right here, Everett. And then Everett, email, and your wife. Okay. Michelle. Okay. All right. I made a note here on my my third grade class blotter, and so we'll go from there. Hey, got time to do one more little quick painting, I think. So, or maybe finish up some. Look at this. I'm just going to take this Kakuno pen we've been talking about this morning. I'm going to do a little veining here in the rooster. I'm going to use it to just do the toenails. Roosters got to have toenails. I mean, they got a spur back there too. And then just use the black pen to do some grass in there. And celebrate Christmas. Roodoodles. I'm going to sign it, Michael. Wow, 21. Okay. All right, so there it is right there. There's your, I think you need a little blue in the sky. If there's enough blue in the sky to make cat britches, it won't rain. And so there is the finished painting right there. We'll take a little of that orange out of the beak. Watch this. Boop. See that? Oh, no, you're looking at me. I'm so sorry. See, I got carried away doing that cotton picking. Dead gum. Email, because I apologize. I wanted to write that down. That's very important to me. Thank you for letting me know. And I'm sorry if you have an issue with anything that I've mailed or haven't mailed, just send it to roodoodles@gmail.com and I'll work it out. Okay, I'll figure it out. Or yes, I've repainted paintings that sometimes just didn't show up, or some that showed up that were folded double. So help me. Go get Mom. You're not going to believe this. Michael, 21. There it is right there. And so that painting is basically done. Dirty up these little peeps a little bit because they've been running around out here. Maybe some straw sticking out of the bottom, some grass going back this way where this guy's getting it on down the road. Maybe some nail marks here, you know. There we go. So there's a couple of Christmas paintings for you this morning. With 5 minutes to go, let's see. What else did I have down in here? I had one that was I thought would be a fun little Christmas. Oh, shoot, this is a great little painting too. I'll turn this one loose today. This is tiny. This is 4x6. It's on my drawing paper. This, of course, will frame really well. Rue. I just put Rue on that little one right there. And then I used to have some coolest scissors. Where are they? Oh, yeah, here. These right here. Look at these babies. Gardener's Cottage. Yeah. These are for trimming your little vines outside. You know what I don't do well? I don't cut with scissors very well. It could be that my hand doesn't fit in the holes. Okay, so there it is. So there's 3 paintings from this morning. You didn't see me do that when I did that one when the show was first signing on. And I got another manger scene going, and I'll paint another Christmas Rue. I got a couple more that are coming out this way. I've got one where Rue's decorating the tree, and so I'm going to paint some of my favorite Christmas, and who knows, I might come up with another one or two. And don't forget, if you're going to do a Christmas tree this year in 3 minutes or less, don't forget to don't do it like you did it in elementary school, okay? Unless you're doing stage props, and these are very acceptable for stage props. So you just paint the whole thing green. Just come in there and give your tree a little bit of light and space, okay? Just give it some wiggle, some squiggle like this, and bring it down and change how you're going to draw your Christmas trees this year. Why would you do that? Well, because if you're going to decorate the tree, you want some holidays in between the limbs just as well. And you just want some of these speckles out here. And I got 1 more minute to go on the sketch, 2 minutes on the paint. Watch what happens. We'll turn this into a cool little Christmas tree with this Kakuno pen. And then what's going to happen? It's going to bleed like crazy. And so you're going to see a lot of black show up in here. Does that bother me? No, it's going to be perfect. So there's my tree. It's coming together. Got some more pieces right in here. I got this. 30 more seconds on the sketch ought to get us to the end of this thing right here. Put this tree in a bucket. There it is right there. And then let's go in and let's just get a brush that's way too big to do this with. Where's my little zero? Let's go get some of this paint. Just mix all the greens together. Can you see it right there? Look, just make a mud pie out of green. And then and just come in and start dancing this brush in here just like this. And just let it dance and let it just go back and forth. I have hit my brush in the green 1 time only. I'm not going in and paying attention and dipping back and doing all that. And look what I'm doing. Sometimes in here where I've got more ink I'm adding a little more wet from my brush to those areas. And what's happening? It's giving you that great little dark in there. I'm going to clean it out, go get a little bit of blue. Why would I get that blue? Because I'm going to come with some green back over it. And I like a little bit. It's a blue spruce, for heaven's sakes. It's got a little bit of blue in there, okay? And it's a little tighter in some places. Now you see why you don't have to do it all balled up, because if you do, it's going to run together. Let's put it in a brown rusty bucket with a touch of green in that. Let's get some green there. Let's put a little bit of brown in the trunk. There it is right there. And maybe a couple dead limbs out here on the outside. And there's some really fresh green stuff that's just here. Okay, and then just a little water on the side here, the little red in that brush, just a touch like this. Clean that brush out a little bit and drag this over with kind of a dry brush. Leave a little holiday right there. Let's put a little bit of, let's see if we got a little bit of gray. I need some gray. Do I have any gray in here? Not really. Let's grab a little Payne's gray over here in that. Let's just do the top of this and a little touch of gray right there, like so. And let's do the roo, a little peep in yellow. I'm painting with a brush that's way too big to paint this. That's kind of what I like. It challenges me to stay loose. Let's throw a little bit of shadow underneath here like this. Let's let some of that shadow have a little purple in it. Let's let some of that shadow have a little bit of green in it like that. And even the red, let the red run down in there. That's too much because I got into it, but it's okay. We'll go back and take that out. I'll just drop a little green and red right over that like that. And touch that purple one more time. Okay, so there's my little painting right there in what, 2 minutes? Oh, ooh. Saw this differently in my mind. Okay. All right. Hey, I had fun. Thank y'all. I cooked turkey every year in my grandmother's turkey pan. Isn't that awesome? I love it. You lift it out. Turkey pans like that don't come easy, right? Thank you, Everett. Email me. Oh, and her. No, not frustrated. Stuff happens. Yeah, man. I'm sorry. I remember this story, but it could be my fault. So, but I generally mail all my paintings. So you just send me an email, man. We will take care of it. I apologize. Don't happen to have a red Sharpie in your pocket, do you? No. I have a silver one, actually, I think, in my other vest pocket. But, and no, let's see. No, all I have is my other pen there. That's the one that I keep in my pocket. And this pen, look at this. This pen and this pen are brothers. But that one is worn in my pocket every day for the last 25 years plus. There it is right there. This one actually is a fountain pen, and this one has a pintail refill in it because I made it fit. I am out of here like a herd of turtles. You all have a blessed day. I want to read through some of the comments after I go cook some pancakes. So Everett, thanks for sending me an email. Vin Lim, thanks for being on the show. I see your name here. Susie DeLay, Becky Bailey, Jeanette Seal, Kathy Morrow. Wow, Chris Young, thanks. Jacqueline Browse, thanks for being on here for the Paul Bunyan world. Debbie Owen, welcome to the show. Glenda Small, did I not say hello? And Lisa, I don't think I said hello to you. You say that Kakuno's been one of your favorite pens. Yeah, love it, love it, love it. Okay. Branch out, Jason says. Make your trees different. Branch out. All right. On that note, before he starts barking up the wrong tree, and he would, I'm out of here like a herd of turtles. See you guys Monday, Lord willing. Be creative. Find yourself a place to paint. Paint 20 minutes every day, and you'll be different. Have some tea. I'm going to post, I think I may post this one on Facebook to celebrate Christmas, and this Go Get Him, and just let them roll today, okay? A couple of them are going to wind up on my Etsy store. Thanks for being a fan of Roodoodles show and what I do. Thanks for sharing the show. thanks for telling your friends about it. Would you do that, please? And I'm probably going to teach another class sometime in January or February, but I've got some other stuff up my sleeve, and I'll talk to you about that later. I'm out of here.